right. Welcome to episode 6 of the Culture and Cannabis podcast. We have an incredible episode today. I'm super excited about it. My name is JC Coates. I'll be your host today. We got my guy, my ace, full-time Tony in the building. What's good?
What's good?
So today's special, right? So we got Teddy Campos in the building. He comes from a tech IT background. He's done a ton of structuring for some Fortune 500 companies. He's founder of Glass Vegas. You've done so many things. We're going to dive into all that stuff today.
Oh my goodness, I've done a lot. I don't think we got enough time today.
Also drives a dope Harley.
He straight up rolled
Shout out to the motorcycle riders out there.
He
Especially the ones in Vegas. You guys are troopers.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today, Tony? What's good? What is this all about?
So the Culture and Cannabis podcast, for everyone that doesn't know, is a podcast talking about the culture around cannabis and the people that within it, the businesses, just the movers, the shakers, and the money makers. You know what I'm saying? So, we want to bring special people just like Teddy to you guys so you can learn their story, kind of what they've done, what they haven't done, wins, losses, all that good stuff. So we're definitely going to be diving in today with you.
Sweet. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So Glass Vegas, what is it?
Glass Vegas. Glass Vegas is the American Functional Glass Expo that happens once a year. We've had 3 of them so far. We started out medium to small, and by year 3, JC came to the 3rd year. It's where we kind of hooked up for the first time and met and talked and chatted for real. And Glass Vegas it's glass, it's art. It's I bring in, how many artists do we bring in? Close to 300 artists from all over the country, all American glass. No overseas glass. We're sticklers about it. We're adamant about it. I'll explain the culture of that in a minute. But and then I bring smoke shop owners, glass gallery owners from all over the country, all over the world. Actually, we had some folks from Spain come down. We had some. It was pretty dope to meet some Swiss people that had been to Glass Vegas for 3 years and had shopped and bought wholesale glass and then took it home. That's how amazing it is. So,
I mean, I'm gonna say that, like, because I went and from an event guy, right? It was just an incredible experience, and it's almost. And I was talking to Tony about this. It's almost like the double niche, right? Like cannabis as a whole could be a niche, right? But you're like a niche within the niche. And I know you don't even like to really kind of like say you're in the cannabis space, but you're in the art space. Is it the art space or the glass space?
We are very art, but we are very functional art.
Yes.
So, I mean, the things you're going to come across is it's always going to be all functional glass. So it's going to be functional pipes and, bongs and real heady shit. I mean, super heady stuff. And pendies and millies and, marbles. And there's a lot of dopeness at the show that, we try to keep the art side of it as alive as possible, while keeping the artist fed, paid, bringing those wholesale buyers from all over the world. I'm
gonna go on a limb here and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the largest glass show, if not the world, definitely in the country, right? I mean, what are some shows that kind of compare to?
Well, there are beautiful shows out there. I mean, shout out to Glassroots, and I mean, without their help, I don't think we would have even been able to get started. So that's in Wisconsin. That's a great show. There are other shows like Age and Champs and The Big Show, and a lot of those. I mean, Age is as close as it would get to an actual glass show. Glassroots is a glass show. Those other shows have lots of other product that smoke shop owners would want to buy. Things that you see all over the spot when you walk into a really dope shop. You're like, oh, damn, I need that. I didn't know I needed that. Yeah. Those are the types of things they get at those big shows. As far as big glass shows, our show is, for real functional American glass, our show's huge, 290 some odd booths and, thousands of buyers. Right. So and we make it fun. Like our show is, our show's pretty dope sometimes.
When was it? It just passed recently, right?
Yeah. So it was just in February.
Yes.
It was the early part of February at the Westgate Hotel.
Yes.
So we were there. That was our 3rd year at the Westgate. And shout out to the Vegas Westgate. They were super accommodating. We had a few small issues, as any cannabis fringy related product is going to have. People do like to smoke. We like to keep the show floor as clean as possible. but we provide a functional space where people can smoke and get away, on the DL. I built out this entire backyard area, brought in the ISI group, which is a graffiti art team, pretty dope graffiti art team. Shout out to them. You can check them out on Instagram, ISI group. Those guys came out and I think we did 12 panels, and they made some beautiful art. And they did it the day before the show, and we put it all up. It's got fake grass on the floor, and we put couches or chairs, and I brought in a TV so we could live stream what was going on the main stage outside, so people had a place where they could go smoke. It was amazing.
Funny story about that. So I came in town right when we first started the podcast, and he was like, "I'm going to take you to this super sick glass show." I was like, "All right, dope." So we roll in, thinking it was Las Vegas. Wasn't Las Vegas. Was the weekend before Las Vegas.
What was the weekend before? Age was the weekend before Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Be nice. Yeah.
I'm just saying that we went there thinking I was going to be there at Las Vegas, and we went to a different show.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I also had the flu, so it kind of tampered. It didn't give me the best vibes at the show either.
It's hard. It's hard to really share what Las Vegas is.
Yeah.
The feeling that you get there. The difference between Las Vegas and other glass shows is the heart. We spend a lot of time making sure that the artists are respected, they're taken care of, they're given what they're needed to be given to be really successful. We have educational series. We try to help them to be successful on the show floor. We do everything we can when we're walking by. Some of the younger artists, we bring them in and, we coach them a little bit. We try to give them pointers. What does it take to close a shop owner for real? Because they're going to walk by, they're trying to find the dopest pieces right now because they're trying to make a profit. So they roll through these aisles as fast as they can, but it's the whole convention center, at the Westgate, and it was humongous, and there's so much glass at every table. Every table is just gorgeous. So, how do you get people to pay attention to you when you're in the World Series of Glass for real? Like when people come there, we have a competition called the World Series of Glass, and it's just, we take the dopest artists who want to drop some pieces. It's not done on the fly. It's not like a competition to blow glass immediately right now. Take your time, make your craft, spend the necessary, inside the heart inside of you to make the proper piece and bring it to the show and compete. We have Millie category, we have functional category, solo, collab. It's marble. It's dope. Like the World Series of Glass. World Series of Glass.
There it is.
And for the listeners that don't know, what is a Millie?
A Millie is respect. I don't know how else to put it. A Millie is a dope piece that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and usually a team. I'm not going to lie, especially when they do those deep pulls and they pull the glass out real far. It's like a signature. It's kind of who an artist is. Like they'll create something beautiful and they'll stretch it out and they'll chop it up into little pieces and then they'll put it on display. And they'll put it in functional pieces. They'll put it in the art itself. And when you get a Millie from someone, when you buy a Millie, when you interact and you take this piece, like here's a great example of a Las Vegas Millie that someone made. It's pretty dope.
So dope.
Yeah, so dope. Super nice.
Yeah.
This is a long piece of glass, and then it's cut to create these.
That's dope.
Yeah. So there might have been, 30 pieces made from this. There could have been 10 pieces made from this. It all depends on the pull and how they did it. If you ever get a chance to jump on YouTube and see what it takes to pull a Millie, like for real, when they're pulling glass and they're getting up on a crane or they're getting up on the second story and the glass is hanging and there's people holding from up above and they're trying to get it and they have torches and trying to keep it and growing it at the same time. It's amazing to watch.
I have seen. I saw. I think like Jerome Baker. I think they were doing like one guy was like literally on a forklift.
Yeah.
Right. Like guys with torches and he's going up and then you only have because it's hot, right? And you only have a few this very short time period to get it right.
Working with glass is like working with honey. It becomes this malleable substance that just kind of like moves around, and every movement you make matters. Everything you do matters. And I've attempted to blow glass quite a bit. I've learned, shout out to the homies that helped me make, my first couple pieces. But, I know stretches that I'm not a glass artist. I'm really good at conventions. Me and my team, we're fantastic at shows. We know what the artist needs. We know how to make it work for them. And that's what matters. So we'll do our craft, and then I can just be a fan, because that's what I am. I'm a glass fan. Like, I'm a true fan. When if you want to respect a glass artist, you'll see their pendies. Like, this is Hick Dog, right, out of Arizona. One of my favorite homies. He gave this to me out of after we went on our Blown Vegas trip. Blown Vegas was like a little trek we went on. Last year, Smoke Shop of the Year, Smoking Smitty's up in Montana. We this summer we rented a camper. I brought in 3 artists from all over the country. We had Hick Dog out of Arizona, Bob Harley Dog out of Illinois, and Tammy Baller, who is the motherfucking baller for real, out of New York. They all flew up to Salt Lake. We met them in the camper, and we drove up, all through Idaho, and we got up to Montana, and we threw a huge party in the parking lot of Smokin' Smitty's Smoke Shop, just because he was respected on the show floor and he won the award. Right. The artist chose him, and the people on the show floor chose him, and that's what mattered. Right. So at that, on the drive, he gave this to me afterwards. This was his piece. So
that is dope.
That is super sick. I was looking at that one when I first walked in.
Hick Dog is
when you talk about your this show and Glass Vegas, the World Series of Glass, there's so much happening, right? When you walk in, it's almost just like this, unseen world to a lot of people of just endless glass, right? This culture that exists and drives, right? And you're kind of, showcasing that. And I think a main reason why that it's so successful, and you keep talking about respecting the artists, the culture, the things that matter, right? Let's talk about some of the things that are kind of going on in the glass culture that really do matter. Right?
Yeah, look.
That was a heavy sigh.
That's because let's be honest, glass artists for the last 20, 30 years, they've been treated like the degenerates. They've been treated like just, you make art, but you don't really make art because you push a bowl through it. You know what I mean? Like that's just not true. I mean, this is a functional piece of glass art right here, right? Made by Moth to the Flame. Just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous piece. And this is functional art for real. And an artist who can do the work that you see here
right,
is an artist. And they should be treated as such. They should be cared about. They should be respected. And that's what we do at Glass Vegas.
Do you think it's the cannabis stigma that has kind of stifled them as on a
okay?
Course,
so
right?
let me put it in perspective for you. I've smoked weed most of my life, right? I got on a torch one time because I saw it. It was super fun. And I started blowing some glass. I made my first pipe. I made my first bong. I thought it was super cool. I watched other people.
How old were you when this was happening?
No, not me. I'm talking about, I'm giving you the perspective.
Okay.
I'm giving you the perspective. Yeah. So you put all these things together, and now I start blowing glass, and I'm trying to sell it, and I'm trying to put it out there. And everywhere you go, they're like, yeah, but that's for marijuana. It's for the evil plant. It's bullshit. And everyone was treated them like shit. Drug paraphernalia, exactly. Right? And that's the side effect. And there's no cure for that. If people think that way, you're not going to convince them. It's just the times are changing. The people who are coming to power in the industry are people that care, the people that require a centerpiece in their life, and they respect it. And now those artists that are just in their garage with their torches, trying to create something amazing, they show up and they blow the glass, and now they finally have a place where they can sell it, where people treat them with respect, and that matters because it's really hard. Mm-hmm. They have a family to feed. These people, they're just trying to live their life. They're trying to hang out with their homies, trying to blow glass. Usually, if you've ever seen a little glass studio, like a whole group of motherfuckers that are they're just in it, and you could see it, and they're building and they're creating. they're some of the dopest people I've ever met. So why shouldn't they be treated with respect?
Right.
There's a lot of shows that don't treat them with respect, and all we care about is the heart. So
yeah,
it's pretty dope.
And it definitely transcends through the show, right? You're walking the floor. I mean, it just feels alive. I go to a lot of events. Of course, we produce a ton of events, and some events they feel alive, and some of them don't. And yours definitely is alive with culture, and you can feel it. You guys are in it, and you're participating in it, and it's important, right? So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, how old are you?
43.
43. So, I mean,
you guys are the same age.
We are the same age, yeah. Right. 43, 75.
Well, it's about to be my birthday, so let's see. I'm about to
April 25th.
That's right. That's right. Way to go, brother. Mad props.
I'm like an elephant. I'll remember that. Almost
no, but I mean, like, so how do you, 43, so you started this when you were about 40. What were you doing before that? How do you build up to a point to where you're able to execute on the level that you are right now?
Oh, we're taking it there.
Way back.
All right. So look, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. Back when entrepreneur meant broke. You know what I mean? Like it did not mean like
cool, flashy,
this cool thing that exists now. It was when I'm an entrepreneur, it just meant that I needed to figure out how I could get some fucking money. So I was a hustler from the very beginning, hustle forever. I don't know how not to. Probably having my first kid prompted that, and then, I married super young, had a kid super young, and, just did everything I could. I got into tech because I didn't realize I was going to be good at it. I like puzzles. So tech is like the most awesome puzzle that there is because I can create it however I like. And then I did some fun sales stuff while I was a kid, like multi-level marketing, and I'd go to like pump up meetings and learn like all these things, and I've sucked at it, but man, it was awesome, and it gave me a lot of structure. And then I got into telemarketing and getting on the phone, where I would stand on my desk, and just pace back and forth and sell long distance service over the internet, before the internet, like just sell long distance service to everybody. And then, you go to close a deal and you get under the desk. You've all seen the Boiler Room movies and stuff like that. Look, I lived that life, 800 people on a floor. And shout out NOS Communications if anybody has ever been around back in the day. But 800 people on a floor in a big warehouse, literally on the phone. Everybody's on the phone and there's no walls. So it was pretty amazing. I learned a lot there. You either sink or swim, you know what I mean? So those types of things led to a lot more tech, a lot more building, a lot more, read web pages for dummies in 97 and just kept going, started building websites. And back when it was trendy and people were like, what is that? And, flash forward 20 years later, that has led me all the way to this. When, This Glass Vegas is a one show of many shows that we do. Like we have other shows. Like we just finished a Glasscraft and Beat Expo at the South Point, and that is a 5-day expo with 5 days of classes, 3 days convention floor. Almost 1,000 students, Jeez. 300, glass blowing, wire wrapping, bead making, learning all the craft associated with glass because it is a glass show. But it's more of a jewelry side of show. It's more the fringe. In fact, that's how Glass Vegas came to be. If it wasn't for the glass blowers at Glasscraft and Beat Expo coming to us and saying, this industry, we're just treated like shit everywhere. You guys are the only people that treat us well. You have to get on this side of it. And, we're a little apprehensive because, crossing that line, no disrespect to the cannabis industry, but crossing that line is difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're an established business, especially when you have clients like
you're talking about stepping over into working in cannabis.
Stepping over, yeah. And we're fringe. We're not even really cannabis. You know what I mean? There's no product there. It's glass. It's heady bongs and dope rigs and pendies and marbles and millies. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And those things, so that's kind of how it got. Over the years, I was a nightlife guy. When you're in Vegas, you cannot get away from that. And it was beautiful. I built a company, took it over, what was it, 2009, VegasHotspots.com. They had some kind of tragedy for people that know. And the people that own Sapphire, bought the however they got it. They got the VegasHotspots.com and brought me in, and I built that company up pretty good. We were doing really well, and then built a nightclub called Crown at the Rio. Tables and bottles for 3 years. That was fun. Did some other fun stuff too. And then that led me to this. So the Glass Craft and Beat Expo is 25 years strong, and that's a family company. You know what I mean? It's the expo side. It's a family company. That's just what it is. And that, all the members of the family are part of it. And that's how it is. And because of our clout, because of their ability to make it work, Las Vegas management, because of what they were, afforded us the opportunity to run with this. And we ran with it. And it was difficult. I mean, the stupid things that happened in the very beginning from other shows just trying to hurt us before we even opened our doors the first year was insane.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, I mean, doing trade shows, right? Is it, expos, trade shows, whatever.
Yeah,
it's cutthroat, right? It's big business. People don't always play nice, right?
So I have not experienced people not playing nice until we went functional. Crazy. Never experienced it before. Functional
glass, meaning for people that don't really know, right? Is that there's art glass and then there's glass that you can actually smoke out of, right?
That's right. That's functional means, damn it, I could use it and it's dope as fuck, right? Especially if it's a heady piece. It's just the way it is. And so that's what matters. I lost it. What was the question?
So when you guys went functional, you guys
that's right. Yeah.
Lots of,
well, there's other functional shows, right?
There are other functional shows, and there's a couple shows that weren't very nice to us in the beginning, but all of their fears have kind of come true a little bit. I mean, we're not infringing on any of them. There might be a show that feels like it's imploding, at least from conversations around other people, and then there's another show that we don't even really compete with that just really doesn't like us, and I'm not really sure why. But it's probably because we've given the artists a little bit of a soapbox to stand on and say, look, I am dope. I don't need this bullshit. If the only reason why I still go to your shows is because you have the buyers. And now I go to a show that definitely has the buyers, I don't need to be treated like crap anymore. I don't. And you're going to come to my show and it's going to be fantastic. I mean, Amy Short, she's the show manager. She actually runs the actual show itself. And she connects with each one of these artists and brings these artists, painstakingly talks to them and shares with them what it takes to be a part of our environment. And she's warm and she's wonderful. And there's so much love from Amy, and everyone in the industry feels it for real. And without Amy, I don't know where we would be. I mean, for real. I mean, the whole crew. I mean, Leanne and Jeff and, Jenny and Sky, for real, everybody, and then when we were starting, we really needed a lot of help understanding what it was going to take to really socially make it viable, make it have the right start, the right launch, the right push. And sure enough, came across, shout out to Official Genius, Dustin and Jack, dope ass, and the OG. Yeah, if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know. Let's be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
every motherfucker knows these
exactly.
people. Yeah, it's because they're the foundation. They're the connecting glue that makes. They know how to get the word out. They know, and people respect what they say because the events and the things that they put on, everybody loves. Mm-hmm. I haven't met anybody that doesn't dig an event that they haven't made happen. And so this core group of people getting the show started, I mean, we were a wreck. I was certain no one was coming. I mean, I was certain. We were in business meetings and I was like, dude, nobody's coming. We got all these artists. Where the fuck are these people going to come from? And we're in the Westgate. We're in the Grand Ballroom. We have the whole thing set up and, and we're doing this stuff and we're getting these people, but they're not, these glass artists, a lot of these smoke shop, they're not really registering online the way that most average tech-related people register. These people don't. Don't get me wrong. There are people that are capable in the industry. But a lot of them, if you don't text them, they don't respond. They're definitely not going to your website and they're not filling out a registration form. They got too much glass to blow. Right. Look, I got this much time. See what happens. So we did the World Series of Glass the first year, which was dope. We had staged. I think who did we bring? Our opening night. We had what was? I can't think of the name of the group. Oh, I love them too. I don't know. It don't matter.
They were dope.
They were dope. Yeah. Fortunate Youth. Hell yeah, Fortunate Youth.
Bingo.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Dan and the whole Fortunate Youth crew. They were our first live music that happened at the show. The thing that makes Las Vegas special is we spend a lot of time making the show floor warm and comfortable. And we add all kinds of art installations. Like we have an industry hall that has like the history of glass that you walk through. We do like so much art around the artists. We have live music, and we have a Boro Derby, which is like these dope functional glass cars that you run on a track like slot cars, and you race for the championship. That money goes to charity. We have charity auction stuff. I did a great little. I think we kind of overdid Bishop's Tea Garden this year, but it was pretty amazing. Where Bishop would come and sit down with you and explain to you the history of the tea and the glass and the whole thing, and in a really dope setting. And it's things like that. It's it's the stuff that happens on the show floor. There's bars on the show floor. You gotta have a drink while you're walking around. It's just the way it is. Food on the show floor. Everything was there. And when you see these artists. And we try to find, we try to really showcase who the rock stars are to the newbies, because we put newbies right next to rock stars. I mean, they could be right next to each other in a booth, which is unheard of in the industry. In some of these shows, they're in separate rooms. Like there's if you're not in the crew, you're not even in the main area. You know what I mean? Like you're in the sub, sometimes even in the hallway, which is crazy to be in the hallway. Pay for a spot, travel, bring all your glass, go through all the painstaking, and you're just like in the corner. And it's kind of bullshit. So we put everybody together because together matters, because we want people to learn from each other. We know it's going to work if they do. I know it's going to work if they do. And everybody showed up. And 3 years later, we doubled our buyers this last year. So we just shy of 3,000 buyers, which was amazing.
Damn.
Yeah. I had many booths sell out the first night. The people were like, how did this happen?
That's incredible. That's incredible. I love that the way that, there's kind of a common thread and just talking to you in a conversation, something that you say is, it matters. It matters, right? And the things that do matter to your, showcasing the artists, making sure that they're treated with respect, right? The culture, that making sure things are done in kind of like, it almost feels like a loving type of way, right? Where does that come from? Where do you think that?
Well, it comes from the core group of people that have started the show. We're just, I don't know, the family. I mean, my wife's mother, Leanne, it's her company. She actually owns the company. She bought the company when the owner died from the people that migrated to the company's been around for years. And when I started, I was traveling and doing shows for GE and Yahoo and Adobe and Intuit and all these clients of ours, because I do shows for them. So we're really good at shows, and we really know the bullshit. And she's just super sweet. She's so nice and wonderful, and she really cares, and she believes in fairness. Really believes in fairness, like to our own detriment. Sometimes she believes in fairness. And Amy's her daughter, and Jenny's her daughter, and Brian's son, and and I'm the in-law. I'm the in-law. If that even makes sense, right? I'm married into the family, right? And my beautiful wife Becky, she is, she brought me in, and now I'm in, and there's no way out.
I just love to see people winning on those kind of like core factors, right? The love, the fairness, right?
Well, it's a new world, right?
It's a new world.
It's not what it used to be. It's there are people out there that really think that you have to be hard and mean because that's the only way to win. And look, I understand. For a lot of years, like that was trickling in. Like I could feel it. Like I felt like the only way to win was to be strong and pushy and fuck you. This is my way or the highway, and you either get through it or you don't. And, the younger generation of people that are coming through, they get it. They get that they don't have to be. Why can't I have what I want and everyone else at the same time. You know, it's not about it being easy, because those kinds of solutions are never easy, but it's nice to talk to people who actually want to make it work. So they give it that extra effort that people that are older and tired don't give anymore. And that older and tired attitude is what creates the thumb on people's foreheads that makes a lot of people scared to be successful in life. Not on purpose. It's just a side effect. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So they're not trying to be mean, but they can't help it. And there's a lot of people that work hard not to be mean, that would rather, I don't know, make people happy.
Don't be a dick, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be nice.
That's right. Just be sweet. Just be nice.
I mean, it's definitely paid off for you guys. And I mean, you know, so you guys doing 2 a year, doing 1 a year?
Okay, so Glass Vegas is once a year. It's in February. Glass Craft and Beat Expo is once a year. It's in April.
Nice.
Right?
When's it South? Is that not?
That's at the South Point. Yeah,
That was last weekend?
Yeah, it just happened last
Nice.
week. Yeah, it's really big. In fact, we're just doing class evaluations because we get so many teachers that try to come in to teach, and we have to make sure that they do a good job. So we review these evaluations from 1,000 people taking hundreds of classes. I'm telling you, it's like this stack.
Oh,
it's unbelievable the amount of paper of people writing. Oh, I love this teacher. I hated this teacher. And then we have to decide whether or not the teacher can come back next year.
Damn.
And it's usually based on attendance, whether the world thinks that their product is awesome, what they're making and what they're teaching. And then it's not, So that's the show. And then we do a lot of shows for other companies. We do the Water District show for the Las Vegas Valley Water Authority out here. And that's in October. And that's one that we pretty much run everything like we do our own shows. And then we do little bits and pieces for lots of companies. We do badging, and badgemyevent.com is our front for the front end badging. And, we come in with computers and, we can whip out, you badge your whole show in no time at all and, make it super efficient and super fast. And that's what I'm good at. The creative. I do all the creative, me and my team, all the creative and all the tech. So every show requires quite a bit to make those things happen. And we do a lot of shows. I got no time at all because I've got to launch multiple things, by May 1st. So, I just finished a show, you think you take a break, but that's just not the way it works. Not when we do a lot of shows. Las Vegas is like a labor of love. Las Vegas I like Glass Craft and Beat Expo. It's a wonderful show with warm people that come from the whole world. Literally the whole world flies here for this show. But Las Vegas is something special.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I mean, that's the way that I feel about Culture and Cannabis. It's a labor of love. We go through the pain of, organizing the show on a monthly basis, and, and that is at our core. I think that's why I have such a cool connection with you, because, the vendors, like when we started Culture and Cannabis, it started like 7-8 vendors, right? There wasn't a lot. And the people that I met, they're like startups or people like taking risks to work in the cannabis industry. And it was just so inspiring to me, and I just felt like, I knew how to kind of create an event process to kind of lift these people up, give them an opportunity to kind of win and participate.
And you do that. You really, when I rolled into your event for the first time, I was floored. I thought it was exactly what this town needed. It's exactly the right heartbeat for what's going on. And if people don't understand that, I don't know how to explain it to them, because you either understand heart or you don't. And some places have it and some places really don't. They're just, just trying to make their money and get out. And no, the lengths that the Culture and Cannabis show went to, when I went a couple times, man, it's dope. I can't wait for the next one. Seriously, can't wait for the next one.
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
That's right.
I will be here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we'll wrap this up, and I definitely want you to come back. And
Definitely,
I think a common theme of these podcasts is, we've identified some amazing people doing some incredible things, and kind of this culture. Right. And, definitely wanting to come back and check up where you're going with next and see what's happening.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the centerpiece, if that's cool.
Oh, yes, please.
Is that all right? Can I shout out the centerpiece before we close out?
We got time.
All right, sweet. So my goal in managing a show and making sure that the culture of glass is successful is it comes down to a piece that's shared with you and your friends when you sesh. So everybody's got electronics, right? Everybody's got a pen. Everybody's got, their quick little one hitters or whatever when they take out somebody, they got their little pipes in a bag, and people do that and they take it because it's convenient. They can live that feeling as long as possible. But what's the difference? What's the difference between that and a beautiful piece of glass that sits on your table in the middle of the room, right? It's special. Because when you sesh with somebody, it should be special, right? When you sesh with your crew and they roll up and you pull out that card table, like perfect example, that 70s show, best way to do it. That's flipping around person to person. It was beautiful. It was what a great way to showcase what it actually is like. And a lot of that is starting to dissipate now that there's so much glass, so much electronics, so many little button pushing and, oil and, it's missing the heart, and I'm all about that heart. So when it comes to a centerpiece, it should be shared. And if you don't have a dope rig, you need to get one, a super heady piece. You go to a local glass gallery. If you're lucky enough to have those, some smoke shops you go in and there's a whole glass gallery that you just go in and you're just like, you'll be blown away with the amount of art that's in there. Those types of galleries support our show. Sometimes you'll go into a shop and you'll see a $15 bong on a wall, right? And if you're broke, I respect it. You're buying overseas glass, which creates major problems for real heady glass artists that live in the U.S. and Canada. It creates major problems for them because they get undercut. I know I was rolling down the Champs floor. Probably shouldn't have said that, but I was rolling down the Champs Expo, and I came across a table, and there was these really heady pieces. And I looked at them and I was like, oh, look at this. This is pretty dope. And it said $15 on a piece that definitely took days to make. Definitely in a sweatshop. And you look close and you can see the imperfection. You see how it was made. But it's made with shit glass, and it totally ruins this side of the business. It totally negates people that sit in the garage, slave to their torch for years, just trying to create something dope enough that maybe you'll have in your house one day. And you shouldn't throw that away. No one should throw that away. And so everyone, make sure you get a dope piece, put it in the center, share it with friends when you sesh.
It's beautiful.
That is beautiful. You know what that just reminded me of is when David Tran, the owner of Dope Magazine, was on. He was talking about like the union with the plant and how the union with the plant makes a union with everybody else in the room, and
Exactly.
and like definitely having a sick piece to have that union with the plant and everybody else in the room makes it just so much better.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's, an artist made it, right? You have it, right? You're connecting with people through the plant.
Lots of love.
You need to sesh like a grown up.
Right.
We're grown up motherfuckers here.
Yeah.
You need to sesh like a grown up. Buy yourself a proper piece. Keep it in a nice prominent space in your house, and when your friends come over, roll it out.
One question before we wrap this up: how do you feel about like bigger U.S. glass companies? And I could be completely wrong that these are glass these are local like USA glass companies, but like U.S. glass and like bigger names in the glass like
Grav.
What Illadelph is that one of them? Roar, like those types of brands.
So you're talking about brands of. So I don't know Roar and I don't know Inadev and I don't know those.
Grav, right? Grav Labs.
Yeah, Grav Labs.
Just like bigger brand names, like.
So it's a brand. A brand sounds good,
yeah.
right? If you want to talk about a brand, you talk about Mothership. You talk about Walden Art Glass. Those are brands. Then those are brands of real heady glass for real, and those are respected brands. So when you talk about like the suppliers of glass, like UST Glass and stuff like that, I'm thinking maybe that's what you mean.
Like US Tubes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as long as the glass, I mean, you should do a little research. Not everybody does. If you're a glass blower, you're definitely going to, especially if you're based in the US, you're definitely gonna do a little bit of research. And then that's where you're gonna buy your glass from. And usually you can come to the shows like my show or the Glasscraft and Beat Expo and buy in bulk. A lot of places they'll they'll just mail it to you, and it's pretty good. And some are awesome and some are not. And sometimes it's hard to weed it out. Sometimes budgets matter because most not the rock stars in the industry, but most glass artists that are starting out or learning the craft or been doing it just a couple years, trying to make a name for themselves. They don't always have the cash to make it work. So sometimes they may not be buying. They just get what they can get.
Yeah,
they could get what they could get, and that's what it is. That type of glass. It's up to the artist. Mm-hmm. If you're buying from a local shop that has traveled, purchased glass, when a glass artist, they'll put out 20 pieces on their table. Some of them are concepts, some of them are ideas, and a shop owner will come over and say, I want 10 of these, I want 12 of these, I want 15 of those. They put in an order, glass artist goes home and fulfills that order, starts blowing that glass, make it. Those are the ones that because that shop that now knows that they think they can sell that product. So then they go back, and then we can teach shops how to upsell, the proper way to sell glass. And when that all happens, that whole interaction happens, you have to trust that process. So when you roll into a shop, a piece like this is going to go, maybe $1,500 at a shop, right? $2,000
at least.
Yeah, easy. I mean, with the opals and the marbles in here,
and then just like the on the side.
Does it glow in the dark?
It does. I got a little black light.
Illuminati
here. I don't know
action.
if we got some Illuminati on here. It's pretty dope. It's a pretty sick piece. I like it. It's one of my faves. Shout out to Moth to a Flame. Those guys are rad. And they make it's I don't know. I got lost in the piece. I got lost.
Okay. Lost in the sauce.
Awesome. Yeah, like that's the way it is. But it's really about Las Vegas, right? So we try to create a brand, and the Las Vegas brand, works out pretty well. Give you a little hint right on the inside of here. If you look on the inside of this dope lid right here, this is the carpet at the Westgate. So this was actually the show floor carpet, not the actual carpet, but a print of the carpet, along with some World Series of Glass winning pieces that were thrown on together, designed by Dustin, official genius.
That's a sick hat.
Dude, it's so sick. I love it. I love
He is
it.
the official genius.
It's crazy to go out and see this hat out in places, and I'm like, how did you get that hat? Like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
So
You have no fucking clue.
you have no clue. I don't know where else to put it. How hard it took us just to even get to that point.
Yeah.
Just to even have something that is worthy, that people are making millies. People are, I've got pendies and pieces that people gave me that have the Las Vegas logo in it. And that means something special. It really does. At least it does to me.
No, it should.
And I really appreciate it when that happens. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're doing amazing work, man.
Thanks.
It is. It's been a pleasure to get connected with you. And
yeah.
Anything you want to plug last minute before we wrap this up?
So I'm about to drop, probably by the time you see this, I will have already dropped episode 2 for Blown Vegas.
Nice.
So the website is glass.vegas for the actual show itself. It's a wholesale show, so the general public does not get in. I mean, we turned away hundreds of people trying to get into our show this year. So it was not cool because it is a wholesale show only, and it's only for the industry. So it's not really a public thing. But Glasscraft and Beat Expo is totally public. Some of those artists cross over. I just dropped the Blown Vegas. We're about to, like I said, you're about to see episode 2. And the Blown Vegas is just our shenanigans in the camper, traveling up to blow glass live in front of a smoke shop that won the highest respect award, Smoke and Smitty's up in Montana. And it was pretty sick. And it's a very reality TV show. It's kind of silly and fun. You can go to blown.vegas to check that out, or glass.vegas to see more about the show. And that's it. I really appreciate it. You guys are sick.
Where can they find you on Instagram, Facebook? You personally?
Ted Campos, yo.
Ted Campos. Ted Campos.
Ted Campos, at Ted Campos everywhere.
Lit. Super easy.
Yeah, look, it's just the way it is.
I appreciate you having.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
You know what? It was a pleasure. And here's to the success of Culture and Cannabis. I hope it flourishes for real. And if the Vegas industry doesn't understand that, they don't understand the gap that's going away before, big tobacco and big bottling comes in. went
a couple
federal,
years.
and it's going to ruin everything. So
yeah.
your brand matters. So if you're not a part of Culture and Cannabis, I don't understand.
Get a part.
Yeah,
Get a
for
part of it.
real. Yeah, for real.
Culture and Cannabis,
Shout out.
May 3rd. If you want to be a vendor, hit us up. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, for real.
Peace.
All right. Thanks, yo.
Yeah, thank
it
you
was
so much.
awesome. I really appreciate the love, guys.
Yes.
All right. Take care, yo.
Thanks, Teddy.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good, Chuck? Perfect. Great job, brother.